Hi guys, and a very warm welcome back to What's for Tea, and I hope that I find you all very well indeed, or if it's your first time here, a very warm welcome to you also, and I hope you're all having a great day so far. Right, so for tea tonight I'm actually making a delicious minced beef hot pot. This is the second time this week, so fingers crossed I won't lose any of the footage this time. So because it is the second time of the week that I'm making this one is actually getting sent round to the mother-in-law, so we're going to have something else. It's so easy and incredibly tasty. Everything just gets made in the one pan, and so, well, apart from potatoes, you'll need a different pan for that, but the bulk of your hot pot is just made in the one pan, so it couldn't really be any easier. So this is what I'm using, and I've also listed all the ingredients down below in case you want to follow along. So first of all, I'm using 2 medium onions which I've diced, 400 grams, which is £1 of beef steak mince, or you could use ground beef, a little olive oil just for frying, or you can use vegetable oil if you prefer. I'm using 600 grams of peeled potatoes, I'm using 600 ml of beef stock, 200 grams of frozen garden peas, 50 ml of single cream. Now this is optional, I just tend to use this if I need to thicken it up at the end or to give it a wee bit of extra richness, but I didn't actually use it this time. I've also got 50 grams of butter, I've got 2 cloves of garlic which I've just chopped, 200 grams of diced carrots, 200 grams of diced turnip, 2 tablespoons of plain flour, and you'll also need a couple of splashes of Worcestershire sauce as well, and a wee bit of salt. Yeah, so let's move on and see what we do next. So like I said, you will want a couple of splashes of Worcestershire sauce. I'll actually need to get some more, I'm just about out. Now normally I'd use these wee baby potatoes, but because I used them for the last time I made it, I didn't actually have any left. So I'm just using bog standard white potatoes, which are a bit bigger than these, but they still work just the same. It doesn't really matter. It's just I find if you use the small one, you get a nice sort of uniform slice, but I just use the potatoes that I had. So these are just Maris Piper potatoes, and it's up to you if you slice them lengthways or across the way like that. I want smaller slices, so I'm going to do it this way. If you've done it, along the length, you're going to get longer slices. So you just want to use enough to cover your minced beef and obviously cover the top of your dish. So this will really depend on the size of dish that you're actually using. I used about 600 grams of potatoes. And you don't want them too thin and you don't want them too thick either, because you want to make sure they're going to cook. And if they're too thin, they're just all going to burn and shrivel up. So you want them just in the middle. So once you've sliced all your potatoes, pop them into a bowl, give them a wee wash and cover them up with some cold water until you're ready for them later on. So pop over to your cooker and get a large pan and pop your pan on to a medium heat. And to that you want to add whatever oil that you're using. Like I said, I'm using olive oil, but you can use vegetable or sunflower or whatever you like. And to that you want to add your chopped onions, and then your garlic. And I like to pop a wee bit of salt in as well. It really helps to soften them up and it draws a lot of moisture out. So give these a good stir and let them cook and soften for about 5 minutes until they go nice and translucent. Just like this. And then you can go ahead and start adding your minced beef. I get my minced beef from the butcher and there's very little fat in it. But you've still got the fat from the olive oil. So I'm not going to use any additional oil. But if you find that your pan is quite dry, you can pop in some more oil if you like. So you just want to get this browned all over. I'll just take it maybe not even 5 minutes to get to this stage. And once your mince is all browned, you can go ahead and pop in your carrots and your turnip. Again, just another wee stir round. And you want to let this cook for a few minutes, probably about 5 minutes, just to get the sort of raw edge off of your vegetables. Then you can go ahead and pop in your flour. So this is just 2 tablespoons of plain flour, and this is going to act as a thickener with your beef stock and create a gravy. So you just want to let this cook out for about a minute. And then you can go ahead and add your beef stock. And then a couple of splashes of your Worcestershire sauce. Just give it a good stir again. Then you can pop in your frozen peas. You can use fresh peas if you like. I've got tons of frozen peas in the freezer, so I'm trying to use them up. And just pop your lid on and let this simmer for about 25 to 30 minutes. And when you come back, a lot of your water will have evaporated and will have gone a lot thicker, and that's what you're looking for. You don't want it too dry, because bearing in mind, it's going to be in the oven for just over an hour, so you want to make sure you've got a good amount of liquid in there, or it'll just all dry up. So I just like to pop a wee layer of my potato in my dish first, and then pop my mince mixture on top of that. You don't want it all the way to the top, because obviously you have your potato to put on top of this as well. Give it a wee shuggle, not let your liquid fall to the bottom underneath those potatoes. And then you can put on your last layer of potato, just overlap them. And that way you'll get a good amount of potato in your dish, and everyone will have more than enough. And the last thing you want to do is melt some butter. I just do it in the microwave. And grab a wee brush. Or if you don't have a brush, you can just, use the corner of some kitchen towel. And just add some melted butter to the top of your potatoes. So you want this in the oven between an hour and an hour and 15 minutes. Check on it after an hour and just make sure it's not burnt and you've still got plenty of liquid inside. And you want to put a lid on this. If you don't have a glass lid, you can just use some tin foil. That's perfectly fine, but make sure it's well sealed, because you don't want all your moisture escaping. So gas mark 5 at 180°C for just over an hour. But like I say, this will depend on, the size of dish you're using, how thick your potatoes are. But if it's looking like this and your potatoes are tender, then you're good to go. All you have to do now is pop out into a plate. Like I say, this is going round to the mother-in-law, but I took a wee bit out just to let you see. So mother half's going to have this. So this is the hot pot with some tender stem broccoli. So that was it. Super simple and absolutely delicious, and highly recommended that you do give it a go if you like this kind of thing. It's one of these traditional things. It's traditional and it stood the test of time for a reason, in my opinion. Lovely combination, all the ingredients work so well together, and like I said, really easy and simple and quite inexpensive to make. So that was it. So that was my wee hot pot recipe. Like I say, sometimes I do it with chicken. You can also add additional gravy if you like. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. Just, it does depend on how dry it is. But today it was absolutely perfect. So I'm sure the mother-in-law is going to love this. So thank you again, like I said, guys, for popping over and seeing what's going on. And I know it was a bit of a late upload, but I've got Meals of the Week going up in the next hour or so as well. So hopefully I'll see you back for that. And until then, take care of yourselves and bye for now. Bye now.